Okay, could I talk about another thing that I'm
Yeah,
inspired by at the moment? Another Dharma
please.
class. Okay. Again, there's so many, but one that I love, and if I may, I'd like to start this with a story because this story really illustrates it for me.
Yeah, sounds
And
great.
if you've been at my classes, you'll know this story because it was a while ago and I really love it because it helped me. But in any case, if you haven't, then that's good. So one time when I was living in Philadelphia, I was at the train station near our house where our Dharma center was. And there's this cafe in the train station. And it was around about rush hour. It's a commuter cafe. It wasn't very big, so maybe really just like 10 people or something, but it was very lively, lots of hustle and bustle, lively conversations happening. And then all of a sudden, this older woman kind of basically blew through the door, like on the wind or something, blew in the door. And she was already talking to us, like she was mid conversation, talking with us, even though we hadn't started any conversation with her. She, wasn't really wearing matching clothes or they were mismatched. Her hair was a bit disheveled and she wasn't making any sense. So this only lasted like a few seconds. And then somebody came in after her and escorted her out and back up the street. But in those few seconds, the room had gone completely silent, like pin drop silent. And there was this feeling of, it wasn't fear, but there was a feeling of, because it was an older, frail older woman, but there was definitely a feeling of awkwardness and intimidation. Like people were intimidated, felt awkward, they didn't know what to say. And that lingered in the room. So this guy in the corner of the cafe clearly wanted to break the ice and make people feel better. So he decided to pipe up and say a joke to make a joke. And you could tell he just wanted to make people feel better. But unfortunately, the joke was at the woman's expense. And it wasn't a terrible joke, it was just a little light one, but it was still at her expense. And then the woman, young woman, serving the coffee behind the counter, couldn't have been more than 21, turned to this guy, looked him right in the eye, and she goes, "What if that was your mother?" And the moment she said that, the atmosphere in the whole room completely shifted and changed. And it wasn't that everybody felt terrible about themselves, like they were a terrible person and people felt awkward and bad. It wasn't that at all, because people weren't thinking about themselves at all. What had clearly happened, what I could absolutely definitely feel had happened, I could feel the minds of everyone in that room now running up the street after that woman to check that she was okay. And so he had gone from, what about me? And being intimidated and I feel awkward, to suddenly, oh my gosh, what if that was my mother? What about her? How is she? What's happening to her? Who was that person who took her away? Where is she now? Is she okay? I hope she has what she needs. What is her life like? It went from what we would understand to be self-cherishing ignorance, or what about me? I'm in the center of everything, to affectionate love, that most essential level of love, that warm heart and feeling of connection, closeness through feeling a connection, just simply thinking, what if that was my mum? That then leads to that second type of love that grows into what we call cherishing love, that feeling you matter, your happiness and well-being matters, which leads us naturally to the third kind of love, wishing happiness on others, thinking, may you be happy. And is there something I can do to affect that, to make you happy? All through that one simple statement transformed the way we viewed her, to the way we were feeling, the way we were thinking, the way we were behaving became transformed. And I couldn't help but think, as I'm leaving the cafe, as we're all leaving that cafe, if we just kept that view, it doesn't even have to, like, because we know Buddha taught every living being is our mother. Buddha taught we've had countless previous lives because our mind is part of a beginningless continuum, but our bodies are short-lived, they don't last very long. If that's the case, it would follow we've had countless previous lives. In each of them, we must have at least had a mother to give us that life. Where are all those mothers now? Buddha's saying they're all the beings around us today. We're just not recognizing each other. So Buddha taught to give us love, to kind of almost, I feel like, almost like trick us into, not trick, but really to help us move our mind into caring about people. Because we know the way in is affectionate love, which is feeling connected, feeling warm and close, feeling connected, to give us this thought, what if that's my mum? Or Buddha said they really are. But if if we don't understand past and future lives yet, that's also completely fine. It just works by thinking something as simple that the people in that room didn't believe in past and future lives, probably, but they could still get the understanding, what if that was my mum?
Yeah.
Or what if that was my brother or sister, father or mother, my child, my friend, my favorite school teacher? And if when we left the cafe, we maintained that, so that the person driving past us or the stopping for us at the cross section, the people we're interacting with, if we let ourselves think, what if that was my brother? What if that was my uncle? What if that was my child? What if that was my best friend? Because we all knew in that experience that we were better people for thinking, what if that was my mum? We thought better, we behaved better, and how naturally and easily we could transform our way of thinking and our way of behaving with a very simple new way of relating to people. And it might sound esoteric or something, but it's not real. I mean, but it's also incredibly simple. Like switching on a light. We don't have to sit down and meditate for ages and really push my mind. I must care about this person. I must care about them. I must stop thinking about me. And we just let ourselves think, well, what if that person on the street was my mum? Oh, wow. Like switching on a light, I feel warm and connected. I recognize this person matters. What happens to them matters. And my mind thinks, may you be happy, and means that. And I think that is incredible, an incredible way in to developing love towards anyone and everyone. So that's really inspiring me at the moment.
I love that. And I love the story. It's just such a perfect illustration of what is like that essence of that mind. What are we going for with it? Because it is a weird thing, Buddhists think everyone is their mother. And it's like, why would you do that? But that story really illustrates, like, if you see someone suffering and you thought, what if that was my mother? There's immediately that affection that comes, like your heart opens up and you feel it opening up. And connecting back to the previous discussion around minds and the value of minds being like diamonds and so on, like the value of a mind of affection and cherishing love and wishing love and that connection, that's an incredibly valuable mind because it makes us happy. And again,
Yeah.
we like seek it out from external circumstances. Like if I just meet the right person, then I would have that valuable mind of love, which is what we all crave and want. But it's like, actually,
We
you don't
can meet the
need
right
anything.
person. We are meeting the right person.
Exactly. Every person we
Recognize
meet
as
is
the
the
right,
right person.
that's
Yeah.
on us, which is so much better. Like
Yeah.
you were saying, meditation versus external wealth. We can produce this for ourselves. We can transform each person we meet into the right person for us
I love that.
by having this different view, this wisdom view. And also like that view is mind protection. We're putting mind protection on our mind. We hold a view like that, a meaningful wisdom view, like everyone we meet, viewing them as, what if this was my mom, or this is my mom, or my brother, sister, dear friend. We've protected our mind from generating strong self-cherishing, ordinary attachment, aversion, irritation, etc., from our strong delusions, painful feelings. we've put on this mind protection that's also really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of the I believe Venerable Geshe talks about in Eight Steps of Happiness about how we can make our uh whether someone not is valuable to us or a treasure or not depends on us, and we can turn all of our everyone in our life into treasure chests. But if we're in the way we're talking about by having loving minds, but if we're having a deluded mind about them, anger and other things, then we turn them into enemies, and it's our mind that's doing that. And I mean, what an incredible thing to think I can turn every interaction, every person into a valuable treasure to me, and like use that appearance of that person or that relationship or that situation as a part of my path to enlightenment, as a way to enhance my mind. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's reminding me of another thing in the New Eight Steps to Happiness that I haven't looked at recently, but I think it's in, I'm going to get this wrong. I think it's at the beginning of describing wishing love. Um, but it's, oh, were the three types of love, or somewhere in, anyway, there's a lot in love in there, but where it talks about uh, it shows love as it describes it similarly to what it does in Living Meaningfully, Dying Joyfully. Love as a mind for non-deluded reasons whose object appears as beautiful. So a mind whose object appears as beautiful for non-deluded reasons, and that when we have love, our object is beautiful. So if we want to be surrounded by beauty, and it's not just ordinary beauty, like coming from attachment that's going to lead to pain and disappointment, but a kind of beauty that doesn't let us down, then we turn up our mind of love. And we can do that by simply thinking, hey, you're my mom, you're my sister, you're my child, you're my uncle. You know, we put on a mind of love, and that love only has to be as simple as affectionate love, that warm heart and feeling of closeness. That means I feel connected with you. I'm recognizing you're someone who matters to me. You're my person. You know, you're my mom, my child, my loved one of my previous lives or whatever. Then we get to transform our world to be full of beautiful people and to experience that beauty, which we love beauty. We were drawn by beauty. And that usually so often lets us down because we're just being led by our ordinary minds towards ordinary beauty. This isn't ordinary and it doesn't let us down.
Yeah, and we become thinking like this, we become like a bodhisattva, like someone seeking enlightenment for the benefit of others, where for a bodhisattva, everybody, it's sort of like everybody is part of their clan. Everybody is part of their people. Like they're on the side of all living beings and against delusions and negative minds that, pervade the minds of living beings. And when you have this view, it's, a bodhisattva is called a friend of the world, not because everybody loves them, but because from their side, they have that warm heart, connecting with others, viewing them through these lenses that allow them to keep a warm heart, to be motivated to help them. And it's such a inspiring way of living and being, and completely the opposite of, the self-centered view of self-cherishing mind. It's a view, and it goes back to like one of the earlier points about how do we let meditation expand our mind and tune into the nature of the good qualities of our mind, and realize actually these states of mind are all within us, and all we have to do is, as you said, focus on them and they will grow. And then if we have this like big vision of what they can become, like universal love for every living being, when we hear like a Buddha has universal love for every living being, it's almost like that sounds amazing and good for Buddha, but what does that have to do with me? But then when you realize, no, actually, through these ways of viewing others, and a lot of this is perfect meditation break practice. Like when you're interacting with other people, this is the perfect time to continue to enhance these minds. And then we can see for ourselves that we can actually become someone with universal love. It's not just like some pie in the sky dream. It's actually a step-by-step process of transformation that we can undergo if we're interested.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to pick up on that thing you were saying about the bodhisattva, or when we follow this mind of love, we're on the side of everyone, because I think that is so inspiring too. And it also makes me really delight in what Buddha's doing with the viewing everyone as your mother or your immediate family member. Because I feel like, I think I was saying like he's tricking us into loving people before, which, I don't know, but he kind of is. But I think particularly with this one, because we do as humans have this tendency to feel this is my group, that's your group. I love these people because that's my group or my team. Like team sports, we know how to root for our team, how to support our team. We all know what that feels like. And it's a bit difficult for us to support someone else's team. And the Buddha understands this about us, and he gives us this, he kind of tricks us and gives us this technique to put everybody on our team. So everybody's enough. Yeah, he says you can regard your family as more special. That's okay. You've got that tendency. You can sort of keep that, or your team is better. But if you look closely, you discover this person's on your team too. Oh, and look, that person over there, they're also on your team. Oh, and this person, they're on your team. This person, oh, they're your family too. So he's tricked us to putting everyone as our team or as our family, that this person is my person, my team, my family. So we and then that leads us to a really precious kind of wishing love, because we support our team, we root for our team. And I really like to think recently about with respect to wishing love as I'm going about daily life, to think that I'm rooting for people.
Yeah.
And that comes from thinking everyone as my mother or my immediate family member or dearest friend from all my previous lives or from whenever. That means I'm supporting you. Like I'm on your side, like you had just said. You're part of my team. My team is now all living beings. I'm team all living beings. And that means it's not just an abstract, may you be happy. It means I'm legitimately, honestly rooting for you. I'm rooting for your success.
Yeah.
I've really been enjoying like walking down the street as there's usually someone in front of you. You're like sharing the sidewalk for a little while as you're walking down the street, even though you're not looking at each other, but looking at that person and choosing to think, I'm rooting for you, and to really tune into that person, think, I'm rooting for your success and meaning it. And it's not hard to mean when you think, what if that's my dad? What if that's my um, friend from my previous lives or from whenever? And to think about that, to think all living, each individual, all living beings and every individual I encounter, to let my mind think, I'm rooting for you. And like cheering, if something good happens for them, we cheer like we would cheer on our team. Because if we cheer on our team, like say we cheer for the Philadelphia Eagles or something, since I mentioned Philadelphia, then um, we're not actually playing in that team. So it's not like we didn't score the goal, but we're still happy to cheer and support, and we go all out. I remember I was in Philadelphia a little over a year ago, and they were saying about how when the Eagles won, or when the Philadelphia teams even just score a goal, the cheering is so loud in Philadelphia. There was actually something, yeah, there was something in the news, but it turned out to maybe be fake news. But there was something, even got into the news, that it registered on the Richter scale, the amount of cheering that happened, because they're
Right.
pretty widely supported in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But even if it was fake news, the point is still the same. People believed it because the cheering was so intense.
Right.
We cheer for our team, so that feeling in your heart, like the crowd is roaring when something good happens for somebody.
Yeah.
Because
Rejoice.
yeah, we didn't score that goal, but we still can roar as if even better than if we had,
Yeah.
because it's our team. And now we've decided in Buddhism, Buddha's gotten us to decide every living being is our team, is on our team, and
Yeah.
we're rooting for them, we're supporting them. Therefore, when something good happens to them, or we just simply think about something good happening to them, in our heart, the crowd roars. We feel delighted. We are rooting for that.
Yeah. I love that. And it so very clearly breaks down boundaries and barriers between people. Like we're always seeing in the news, this group versus that group, this country versus that country. and we pick sides, and then we develop aversion for one and we cheer for this one team. But this meditation allows us to actually step back and with compassion and love see all of these people are suffering, and
Yeah.
we want them all to have their problem solved and the happiness and the freedom that they're looking for. And we can yeah, we can be on the side of everybody, and it keeps that like keeps our mind in balance, like the mind of equanimity. And then you see we start to see for ourselves what Venerable Geshe has said about love is the real nuclear bomb that destroys our enemies, because when we're in that balanced state of mind and everybody is on our team, we from our side have no enemies. There's no one we don't like, there's no aversion in our mind pushing people away. In fact, we're embracing, so to speak, everybody. Everybody is welcome, everybody is a member of our team, and we're going to do our best in every way we can to help everybody.
Yeah. And although that can sound really abstract, oh, I care about everyone, I love everyone, we're doing it individual after individual, because it's not
Right.
a faceless blob of people, is it? Buddha's shown us to think each individual is someone I have this personal history with. I have this personal connection with. I cherish you. I'm rooting for you as an individual. Oh, and it just so happens that that individual I'm rooting for as well, and that individual I have a personal connection with. That individual, you're my team as well.
Yeah.
But individual by individual, we include everybody, or there's nobody that is not included in that. And
Yeah.
that's incredibly powerful. And we don't have to be some special person, different person, to be able to use that. That works on all of us, or any
Yeah.
of us.
Exactly. Yeah, it reminds me of some of the recent conflicts, and I know people on both sides and they're good friends, and it's to me it's more about like how can you be their friend and support them in that conflict that they're having, um not necessarily with each other, but the groups that they belong to are in big conflict, and I'm more concerned about that individual person and how, are they okay, and how can I be a friend to them. And it does come down to each and every living being has different needs and different wishes and wants, and how can we, and through that connection that we have, be there for them and show up for them in a way that is beneficial. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Cool. Well, this was incredibly enjoyable. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you, France. It's really nice to see you. It's nice to tune in across the pond to America.
Yeah. Any last advice you want to give for anyone watching about meditation or Buddhism?
Just to get it going, and that there's so many easy ways in, like how to transform your life. You can get it as a free ebook download. You can open that basically on any page, like just flick it open onto any page, and you find something that you can practically use in that moment, either in your meditation space, on your meditation cushion or seat, or just to help you at work, at home, in your daily life, something meaningful to think about. There's so many good opportunities there.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, France.